Throughout the history of humanity, there have been many empires that have existed. However, only a few have managed to dominate the world in their time. Today in history's finest tops, we will see what those empires were, how powerful they were, and how his fall was. Number 8. Ancient Egypt was one of the world's oldest and most fascinating civilizations, developing along the Nile Valley in northeast Africa. The Egyptian Empire, which flourished from 2686 BC until 2181 BC, it was characterized by its monumental architecture, its impressive art and its complex religion. The Egyptian Empire was ruled by pharaohs, who were considered both political and religious leaders. Some of the most famous and powerful pharaohs include Cleopatra, Tutankhamun and Ramses II. The Egyptian Empire managed to build some of the most impressive structures in history, such as the pyramids of Giza, the Great Sphinx, and the temples of Karnak and Luxor. Egyptian architecture was also characterized by its focus on symmetry and balance, as well as its use of hieroglyphs to record history and religion. Egyptian religion was a central part of the life and culture of the empire, and centered on the belief in multiple gods and goddesses who controlled aspects of the universe and everyday life. The religion also extended to the cult of the dead and the belief in life after death, which led to the creation of tombs and mummifications to preserve the body after death. Despite its monumental achievements, the Egyptian Empire also faced its share of problems and challenges. Resource shortages and pressure from foreign invaders led to the fall of the empire, and Egypt was ruled by a series of foreign dynasties before finally being annexed by the Roman Empire in 30 BC. The legacy of the Egyptian Empire remains evident in our modern culture, in its architecture, art, religion and science, which have had a lasting impact on the world. Number 7. The Roman Empire was one of the most influential and enduring empires in human history, spanning from the 3rd century BC to the 5th century AD. It was one of the world's first superpowers, expanding rapidly through conquest and colonization of other nations. The Roman Republic, which preceded the empire, was founded in 509 BC, and was characterized by a government that was based on citizen participation and the power of senators. However, the increasing expansion of Roman territory and internal power struggles led to the formation of the Roman Empire in the 1st century BC. The construction of impressive buildings such as the Colosseum and the Pantheon, as well as the creation of an efficient road system and a network of aqueducts, were some of the greatest achievements of the Roman Empire. Emperor Augustus, who reigned from 27 BC until 14 AD, he is considered one of the most important and respected leaders of the Roman Empire. He established an efficient administration, lasting peace, and a prosperous economy that allowed the growth and expansion of the empire. However, the Roman Empire also faced many challenges, including internal power struggles, the pressure of barbarian invasions, and economic and political decline. In the 5th century AD, the Western Roman Empire fell to the Germanic barbarians, while the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to exist for another 1,000 years. The legacy of the Roman Empire is still evident today in our culture, in our system of laws, architecture, literature, politics and religion. Number 6. The Ottoman Empire was one of the most enduring and powerful empires in history, ruling much of Europe, Asia, and Africa from the 14th century to the early 20th century. It was founded by Osman I in 1299 and its capital was the city of Istanbul. The Ottoman Empire expanded rapidly under the leadership of the sultans, who used innovative military tactics and efficient administration to conquer new territories. The empire reached its peak in the 16th century, under the reign of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, who expanded Ottoman territory to the Mediterranean and North Africa. The Ottoman Empire was also known for its religious tolerance, as it allowed different religions to coexist peacefully within its territory. Additionally, it was home to a large number of cultures and ethnicities, making it a melting pot of cultural and religious influences. During its heyday, the Ottoman Empire was known for its achievements in architecture, poetry, literature, and the visual arts. Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, Süleyman Mosque and Hagia Sophia are some examples of rich Ottoman architecture. The empire began to lose ground in the 19th century and dissolved after the First World War. Despite its fall, the legacy of the Ottoman Empire continues to this day in the culture, architecture, and politics of many countries in Europe and Asia. Istanbul, the former Ottoman capital, remains one of the most fascinating and beautiful cities in the world, with a rich mix of cultural and religious influences. Number 5. The Persian Empire, also known as the Achaemenid Empire, was one of the largest and most powerful empires of antiquity, ruling a large part of Asia and Europe for more than 2 centuries, from 550 BC to 330 BC. The founder of the Persian Empire was Cyrus the Great, who unified several Persian tribes and managed to expand their territory through a series of wars and conquests. Cyrus was known for his religious and cultural tolerance, allowing the various cultures and religions of his empire to coexist peacefully. The Persian Empire is also famous for its road system, known as the Royal Route, which allowed the rapid mobilization of troops and goods throughout the empire's territory. Additionally, the Persians developed a form of writing called cuneiform, which became the official writing of the empire. The reign of Emperor Darius I was one of the most notable of the Persian Empire. During his reign, the empire expanded east and west, and a large number of monuments and buildings were built, including the famous Palace of Persepolis. However, the Persian Empire also faced many challenges, including invasions by the Greeks led by Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC, and the fall of the empire at the hands of Arab invaders in the 7th century AD. Despite its fall, the influence of the Persian Empire remains one of the oldest and richest in the world, and has influenced the literature, poetry, music, and art of many countries around the world. Number 4. The Russian Empire was one of the largest empires in history, stretching across much of Eurasia, from Poland to Alaska. The empire was formed in the early 18th century, when Tsar Peter the Great carried out a series of reforms that modernized and westernized the country. During its heyday, the Russian Empire was noted for its rich culture, arts, and literature, as well as its important role in global geopolitics. The country became a military and political power in Europe and Asia, expanding south and east at the expense of the Ottomans, Persians, and Mongols. The Russian Empire was also characterized by its feudal system and agricultural economy. The majority of the country's population lived in the countryside and worked in agriculture, while a small nobility controlled most of the wealth and political power. However, the Russian Empire also faced numerous challenges throughout its history, including the Revolution of 1917 that overthrew the Tsarist regime and established the Soviet Union. During this period, Russia underwent a process of industrialization and modernization under the leadership of Soviet leader Joseph Stalin. Today, Russia remains a global power and one of the largest economies in the world. Despite the fall of the Russian Empire, its legacy remains visible in the culture, religion, and politics of Russia and many Eurasian countries. Russian literature, architecture, and art continue to be appreciated and studied around the world, and Russia's influence on international politics remains significant. Number 3. The Chinese Empire was one of the largest and most enduring empires in human history. It originated in the 3rd century BC with the unification of the feudal kingdoms of China under the Qin dynasty, and extended over more than 2 millennia until the fall of the Qin dynasty in 1912. The Chinese Empire was characterized by its strong political centralization and its imperial system. The Chinese emperor, considered a divine figure, had absolute power, and his government was based on a highly organized and disciplined bureaucracy. Furthermore, the Chinese Empire was noted for its sophisticated culture and its notable technological and scientific development, including the invention of gunpowder, paper, and the compass, among other things. During its heyday, the Chinese Empire controlled much of Asia, trade and diplomatic relations flourished, especially through the Silk Road, a major trade route connecting China with Europe and Africa. However, the Chinese Empire also faced numerous challenges throughout its history, including barbarian invasions, internal rebellions, and the arrival of foreign colonial powers. In the 19th century, China suffered a series of military and political defeats at the hands of Western powers, known as the Opium Wars, which resulted in the loss of territory and national sovereignty. The end of the Chinese Empire came in 1912, when the Xinhai Revolution overthrew the Qing dynasty and established the Republic of China. However, the history of the Chinese Empire is still relevant today. Confucianism, one of the main Chinese philosophies, remains a major force in Chinese culture and Asian society in general. Number 2. The British Empire was one of the largest and most powerful empires in human history. It spread throughout the world, from North America and the Caribbean to Africa, Asia, and Australia. It was founded in the 16th century with the arrival of the first British settlers in North America and was consolidated in the 19th century with territorial expansion in Africa and Asia. The success of the British Empire was largely due to its naval power and its ability to create a global trade network. The British Navy was the most powerful in the world and allowed the British to control the seas and establish colonies around the world. During its peak, the British Empire controlled a fifth of the planet's land area and a quarter of its population. However, the British Empire was not always beneficial to the colonies. British colonial policies often focused on the exploitation of the colony's natural resources and labor, leading to oppression and inequality in many places. The decline of the British Empire began in the first half of the 20th century, with the colony's growing demand for independence. India became the first British colony to achieve independence in 1947, followed by many others in the following years. In 1997, Hong Kong was returned to China, marking the end of the British Empire. Despite its fall, the legacy of the British Empire remains relevant today. English has become the global language of business and popular culture, and many countries still rely on the British political and legal system. Furthermore, the British Empire left a legacy of literature, art, and architecture throughout the world. Number 1. The Mongol Empire was the largest and most powerful empire in human history. It was founded by Genghis Khan in the 13th century and spread from Eastern Europe to Central Asia and East Asia. The Mongols were a nomadic and warrior people, but they were also great strategists and diplomats. The Mongol conquest began with the unification of the Mongol tribes by Genghis Khan in 1206. From there, the Mongols began a series of military campaigns to expand their territory, allowing them to dominate much of Eurasia. At its peak, the Mongol Empire controlled more than 24 million square kilometers and had a population of around 100 million people. The success of the Mongols was largely due to their military capabilities. The Mongols were expert horsemen and archers, and their warfare tactics were innovative and effective. Furthermore, the Mongol Empire was characterized by its religious tolerance and its centralized political system. However, despite its success, the Mongol Empire was unable to sustain its power and was weakened due to the lack of clear and effective succession, corruption, and population decline due to wars and epidemics. The fall of the Mongol Empire began in the 14th century and accelerated with the death of the last great Khan in 1332. Despite its fall, the legacy of the Mongol Empire remains relevant and its impact on world history is undeniable. Territorial expansion, the creation of a trade network across Eurasia, and the promotion of religious tolerance and cultural diversity are some of the aspects that make the Mongol Empire a powerful and fascinating force in human history. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, so we can bring you more of history's finest tops from around the world.